Welcome. The topic of this panel is preserving communication programs. In my 40 years of higher education, what I have always tried to do is to promote students through different types of mass communication and speech activities. What I'm going to be doing today is to show you a visual retrospective of many of those particular projects that students and myself have been involved with. Upon graduation from UNLV in 1985, I received a faculty position at Purdue University Calumet in Hammond, Indiana. One of the things that we did at Purdue, in addition to broadcasting radio programs on the NPR affiliate in Gary, Indiana, was to discuss what we wanted to do with communication programs and activities. Here is a television interview from October 1985.
I learned earlier that you received your FCC license very early. Could you tell me how that came about?
An FCC license is something which is very difficult to get. It involves a lot of studying, knowing a lot of formulae, things of that nature. I went to Brown Institute in Minneapolis upon graduation from high school. I studied radio and television broadcasting, and I found that it helped me a great deal because that experience in broadcasting helped me later on at UNLV and North Dakota State, and eventually to becoming a professor at Purdue Calumet, something which never in a million years did I expect would happen.
What are some of the things that you've done as far as radio and television?
Well, when I was at North Dakota State, I was co-host of a program which was on the 4 Prairie Public Television affiliates in the state of North Dakota. It was on weeknights at 11:30, and it was very gratifying to see students later on coming up to you and saying, "Oh, I saw you on television last night." That's very gratifying. And also to think that you had done a good job along the way. That was very nice. I also have experience. I worked in the news department at WJLA TV, which is the ABC TV affiliate in Washington, D.C. And I learned a lot about television production there as well. And at UNLV, for those of you who aren't aware, it's the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. At UNLV, I was also involved in teaching courses in television production, advanced television production, and videotape editing. So I think that gives me a broad spectrum of knowledge from which to teach with at Purdue Calumet.
I then became a faculty member at Southeastern Louisiana University in Hammond, Louisiana. Our communication department worked with the Tangipahoa Parish government for a video that could be shown to civic and church groups. Here is a bit of that video, which was produced in July 1987. This section examining its new jail.
What you're looking at is the sophisticated computerized control room in the Tangipahoa Parish Jail. This state-of-the-art facility is one of the most modern in the United States. 15 television cameras monitor all doors and hallways. Opened earlier this year, Tangipahoa Parish was selected from 35 other parishes for the new jail. The amazing part of the $6 million facility is that none of your local tax dollars paid for it. 70% of funding came from the state, and the other 30% came from the Department of Corrections to keep 100 additional prisoners. Sheriff J. Edward Larison, seen here at last year's inauguration of council officials, says the new jail is 3 times larger than the old facility. However, it was built in such a way to minimize personnel. Only one minor incident involving a jailbreak has occurred since it opened, but that was due to human error. There are 3 main control rooms. Each has television monitors to watch movements of prisoners. Here you see the procedure used in opening doors. There are also recreation areas for the prisoners. Meeting rooms are used for both chapel services and teaching courses. There is a visitation area with telephones, a laundry service, and a large kitchen where all meals are cooked. Behind the jail is the garage where cars from the sheriff's office are maintained, and inside personnel are working on assigned projects. As you can see, it is a very impressive facility. The Tangipahoa Parish government has many responsibilities. Time does not allow us to look at all areas in depth, but hopefully that can be done in a future presentation. This program is designed for civic and church groups in Tangipahoa Parish. If you wish to receive further information, please contact the parish courthouse in Amite City. The toll-free number to call is 800-231-0938. That number again is toll-free, 1-800-231-0938. 0938. While the new form of government is less than a year old, your elected officials are striving to make it work for you. It is indeed a bright future for Tangipahoa Parish. Thanks for watching.
What you've seen at Purdue University Calumet and Southeastern Louisiana University are just two strategies that I was using to incorporate the communication department and its students with different types of community and civic activities. But we move on to Southern Arkansas University, where I have been a faculty member since August 1987. Our mass communication program originally had an emphasis in broadcast journalism. Today, it's mass media. In the same way that students produce websites today for different types of content in my courses, in those days, with the transition from analog to digital technologies, we were producing radio news programs, SAU Magazine, television interview programs, the SAU Report, but also had agreements with television stations in the Arklatex to put on student-produced news reports. What you're going to see is an example of that from KTVE, which serves El Dorado, Arkansas, and Monroe, Louisiana. This is Christmas 1990.
The campus of Southern Arkansas University is getting into the Christmas spirit with an unusual decorative touch.
Christmas decorations have taken on a unique look at Southern Arkansas University. The bell tower has been strung with colored lights, giving it the look of a large Christmas candle when seen at night. The physical plant laid the lights across the lawn for inspection, and each was tested. They were then carefully raised up the tower, with staff members setting them in place. The idea for decorating the bell tower as a candle came from the director of the physical plant, who had seen a similar concept at a location in Virginia. The candle has quickly become a popular fixture on the SAU campus.
The SAU Candle Project began 3 years ago as an idea originated by Al Foster. Dr. and Mrs. Brinson quickly liked the idea and made it an SAU tradition. We hope to have everything in readiness for the Festival of Lights. It will be in the early part of December.
The tower measures 187 feet from bottom to top, including the candle, and a total of 1,300 red, yellow, and white bulbs were used in the process. At dusk, the lights can begin to be seen in the Magnolia area, with the full effect taking place soon after.
The Christmas candle adds a special touch to the SAU campus during the holiday season. The physical plant spent 3 days installing the lights and checking the system.
The bell tower contains a 50,000-gallon tank, which provides water for the entire campus. As the days wind down before Christmas, the candle glows as a reminder of the spirit of the season. This is Ellen Blau reporting for Region 10 News.
These reports are produced entirely by the students of SAU Magnolia's Theater and Communication Department.
In December 1997, a group of students went to the state capitol in Little Rock to interview Governor Mike Huckabee. Here is the last segment from that broadcast. The SAU report was shown in tens of thousands of cable television households in Southwest Arkansas and Northeast Texas. Here is Governor Huckabee.
So I think that, frankly, I think public discussion and having public officials answer to the people they work for and people to whom they answer is a very good way that government ought to function. You know, the same people who complain about me being on AETN would probably say that I was hiding from them and not being willing to face the public if I didn't make regular appearances. So I think that the people of Arkansas, other than that small little group out there making those comments, they're not brain dead. They really are pretty smart, and they know what the reality is, and that is their governor is going on the air every month, answering their questions, and basically becoming very vulnerable because I'm asked questions that are sometimes pretty doggone controversial. So I think it's as risky a move as it is anything.
Could you update us on any of the most recent events surrounding the debate between you and the Attorney General?
Well, interesting you should ask. Just today, he filed a lawsuit and has sued me. So now it is in court. And, we certainly feel that it's unfortunate that he's chosen to go this route rather than simply do what we invited him to do, and that's come over and look at the records. What we did not invite him to do was to turn those records over to the newspapers and publish information that wasn't ready. He doesn't do that with his hotline information and his consumer protection hotline, and by golly, we're not about to do it with ours. So, that's the decision he's made. That's the bad news. But the good news of all that is that now this is going to be decided by the courts and not by the editorialists in the newspapers.
Thank you.
Well, that's about all our time we have today for the SAU report.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you, Governor Huckabee.
Thank you, Amanda.
The SAU Report is a production of broadcast journalism students in the Department of Theater and Mass Communication at Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia.
Promoting your communication department. What we're doing right now, in my case, remotely. Different types of academic presentations, making certain that what we're talking about in the classroom can also be evaluated at regional and national conventions of professional associations. This is a playlist from my YouTube channel dating to 1991 with the Speech Communication Association, now the National Communication Association. I have always tried to incorporate video as part of the process of discussing different types of issues in mass communication, mass media, broadcast journalism, and speech. What you see here at the bottom is a Facebook live stream from 2018, sponsored by the Pulitzer Prize Foundation. The moderator was Rex Nelson of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, another faculty member from Southern Arkansas University and a publisher of a Magnolia, Arkansas newspaper online. We discussed the topic media and democracy. It got very favorable reviews, and what I am going to show you now is 2 minutes from that program in 2018.
So if there are fewer gatekeepers in social media, how are we going to discern in terms of media literacy, fact from fiction? How are we going to determine propaganda from spin? Who's going to cry fake news the most? And what is their agenda? And who, for those of you who are here, who are my students, you know that Rupert terminology, who is working the refs for positive and widespread media coverage? And what is their agenda? Are they attempting to delegitimize journalists or news coverage and reporting? And for those critics, oftentimes, what is their alternative in terms of news and information? Information from radio, from television, from websites, partisan outlets that to a great degree only affirm their confirmation bias. And that leads us, of course, to media literacy, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that, among other things, this evening, because that's going to assist in determining what legitimate journalism is. So we can determine what is legitimate and what is not, from trolls, from bots, certainly the Russian propaganda bots, and otherwise, the naysayers, the deniers, the conspiracy theorists that propagate a false narrative and an alternative reality. I wanted to take a moment to quote that great American sage before I go any further. George Costanza. If you're a fan of Seinfeld, you remember that classic episode where he says, Jerry, it's not a lie if you believe it. So whenever you see something in social media on your timeline that doesn't necessarily pass the smell test, take a second, a third, and a fourth look, possibly look at international perspectives on the news, but don't just take anything at face value. Look at a traditional journalistic news source. Look at those traditional journalistic news source social media websites or social media imprints to see whether or not what you're getting is fake, whether it has grains of truth, or whether it's something that you just can't believe.
what is taking place at Southern Arkansas University today? In the old days, broadcast journalism students, radio and television programs were promoting the department and the university. In today's era, with a mass media major, we do it slightly differently. I want to show you my website. Since 2012, whenever we switched to mass media, all of the projects that students do, from introduction to mass communication to senior research project, are going to be posted on my website. As you can see, my digital imprint includes Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. Program information for mass communication and all of the courses. Introduction to Mass Communication, Media Law and Ethics, Reporting and Writing for the Mass Media, Principles of Public Relations, Internet Communication, Media and Politics, Trends in Modern Media, Directed Study in Mass Media 1, which is Mass Media Criticism, Directed Study in Mass Media 2, which is Video, Present and Future, Publicity and Media Campaigns, International Public Relations, International Mass Media, Foreign Language Media in America, Senior Research Project, and I also teach, after Mass Media Internship, Introduction to Public Speaking, and also Advanced Public Speaking. Within these windows for each of the courses are projects that students produce that I post on my website. However, this promotion of student projects and the department goes even further. Let me show you my Twitter feed. What I do here is to hashtag all of my courses and promote student projects. As you can see here, that is from Internet Communication. That is from Trends in Modern Media. That is from Directed Study in Mass Media 1, Mass Media Criticism. That is from Media Law and Ethics, with links to all student projects and research along the way. Notice that they are all hashtagged by course. Many are projects, many involve different types of research. I will also take different types of student activities and post them on my personal Facebook page. From this vantage point, you can see I have created a word cloud for the MassComm program. And down here, everything that you see posted for student projects on my Twitter feed also goes to Facebook. It looks pretty much the same, but I feel because this is free promotion, free publicity for Southern Arkansas University for the mass communication program focusing on mass media, it is an invaluable way for student projects to get out in the public sphere. But of course, one of the things that we're also looking at in this panel is the importance of the basic public speaking course, which I usually teach during the summer. And during the coronavirus pandemic, obviously, we became very involved with the importance of communicating in this format online. The last piece of video that I want to show you comes from a first summer session 2022 course that I teach in public speaking with recordings in a range. If I go to the first day of the summer session, which was that day, it's going to format slightly differently, which now includes session 1. One of the other elements is going to my website where all of the videos are in a separate location. At Tools, for the time being, you can still check your grades. I'm not going to be finalizing them for the foreseeable future. There's no guarantee final grades will be on there, but at least that's where you can at least get up to date with most of the material in the course. And then at course syllabus, the room to enter the course, the checklist that I strongly advocate that you use as your own template for practicing in the future. Those 21 areas that we have gone through in great detail, and we'll be doing it tonight for our second evening of wildcard presentations. Can you honestly say, in all of these categories, from content, from delivery, from visuals, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? How you can improve in the future? You all have, and you will all continue to do so if you follow some of the friendly constructive criticism I've been giving you along the way. So when we are examining, preserving, strengthening, and promoting communication programs, there are a wide variety of activities during our respective academic careers that we can rely on for the future. It is more important than ever in an interactive era that communication programs, the basic speech communication course, be involved and be mandatory as much as possible. What you have seen are some of the strategies that I use and will continue to use at Southern Arkansas University. And that concludes my presentation. Thanks for watching.